toasts are used to send unobtrusive alerts to your user. These will automatically fade away after a certain time, but can also be dismissed by the user. First, we see the basic toast. We click this button to generate the toast. We can see it appearing in the right side for 4 seconds before it disappears again. We can dismiss this toast by dragging it 80% to either side, like so, or to the other side, like so. As you can see, if I'm below 80%, nothing happens. If I'm above, let's open up a new one. If I'm above 80%, it disappears. Then we can define different options. For example, the display length. Here it's set to 2000 milliseconds. And the activation percent when you want it to disappear on drag. So here it's only 40%. Again, to both sides. We can have custom HTML inside of our toast. Here we have a button with the text undo to the right side. The button currently does nothing. Then we can dismiss a toast. So here this button will dismiss the toast, so you don't need to drag it. You could drag it like so, but you can also just click the button. We can also provide a dismiss all method. So if we open up several of these, then we can simply dismiss all by running the code that is connected to this button. Finally, we can apply styling to our toast as well. Here we see the rounded class being added to having these circular borders. All right, let's get started. In our code editor, we start by creating a button that will trigger our first toast. So we add the button tag and give it the type attribute with the value button, and the class btn, and then we'll give this the ID toast basic, which we'll use in a moment, and the text button, and close the button tag again. Now we need to initialize this using JavaScript, so we will scroll down here and create a script tag like so. Now first we'll create a variable called toast basic, and then we'll run the get element by ID method on the document to get the element with the toast basic ID, which is our button. Then we'll add an event listener to this element, toast basic.add event listener. This will be for the click event. And the function will be, first we create a new variable called message to hold our message, which will be content for default toast. And then we can run the m.toast method like so, and pass in the option HTML should be message like so. Let's save and see if this works. In the browser we select the right tab, refresh, we see our button, we click on it, and we see our toast appearing. It goes away after 4 seconds, as I told you in the beginning. Next, let's see how we can change some of these options. So let's start by duplicating this code for the button up here and update the value of the ID to toast display length. Now down here, we'll simply copy and paste this code here, update this value to toast display length. So we once again add this click event, and we'll update the message to be display length 2000 ms. Now the option we want to pass in on top of the HTML message is display length, which should be 2000. 2000 milliseconds. Let's save, go back, refresh. Now we can see that it disappears much quicker. Let's continue to see how we can change the activation percent, that is the percentage at which the toast will disappear when you drag on it to either side or swipe on it. First we copy and paste this code here for our button and update the ID to toast activation percent. Now we'll copy and paste this code here, update this value to toast activation percent, like so. We'll change the message to dismissed on 40% drag. We'll keep the HTML message and we'll change the display length setting to activation percent, and this should be 0.4. Now let's save, go back and refresh, open it up. We can now see that we can dismiss this much easier than the basic one, which we can see needs to be dragged 80% to the left side, and the new one here only need to be dragged 40% to either side. Alright, let's see how we can provide custom HTML inside of our toast. We will copy, paste code for our button here, update the ID to be toast custom HTML. Then we'll copy and paste this code from up here, update this value here to be toast custom HTML, and now we'll simply change the message to see that we can use HTML inside of our message. We'll create a span tag with the text custom HTML content for toast, close our span tag, and then we'll add the button tag with the type attribute with the value button. Here you should notice that I'm using double quotes. In the end and beginning of this string, I'm using single quotes, so you need to use double quotes inside, or do the exact opposite. Now let's add the class btn flat and toast action. Close the quotes again and close the button tag, add the text undo, and create the closing button tag like so. Now we'll save this, go back and refresh. Let's click on this button here. We can see we now have custom HTML, the span tag, and the button to the right side. It cannot do anything yet, but we'll make it do anything in the next example, which will be a way to dismiss one of your toasts. So we'll copy this code here, paste it in, update the ID to toast dismiss 1, scroll back down here, copy and paste the code from before, update these values to be toast dismiss 1, like so. We'll keep the message content, and now after this toast is generated, we'll add some more JavaScript. So we'll create a variable called toast button, and we'll use the query selector all method to find the element with the toast class and then the button tag inside. And we want the first of these elements. Now we'll add an event listener for this element, the toast button. This should be the click event and the function that we want to run inside. Create that First we get the toast element, which will be this element and then the closest one with the class toast. Right now I'm using jQuery, all the rest is vanilla JavaScript. So sorry about this, I hope it's okay for you. So this is the way that we'll get the toast element that's closest to our click button. Now we need to get the instance of our toast. So we'll create a variable called toast instance and then m.toast.get instance and pass in the toast element like so. Now we can dismiss this by running the dismiss method on the toast instance like so. Toast instance.dismiss. Alright, to recap, we have the toast with the HTML message here. Then we are finding the button inside of that, the button that lives over here. We are getting that button, adding the click event to the button, then finding the closest toast element, which is this element that we just created. And then we'll get the instance of that so we can dismiss it when we click on the button. Let's save, go back and refresh. Open up this one and click the button. We can see that we dismiss the toast by doing so. Now let's see how we can dismiss all open toasts. So we'll go back here, copy this button, whoops, paste it in like so, update this ID to be toast dismiss all, copy the code here from the first example, update these values to toast dismiss all, and this time we don't need any message. We'll simply run the m.toast.dismiss all. Alright, let's go back, refresh and open up a lot of these toasts. Now when we click on this button, we can see that all of them gets dismissed instantly. So this is how we can do that. Finally, let's see how we can add custom styling to a toast. We'll copy the code for the button one last time, update the ID to be toast styling, scroll down, let's copy the code for the basic toast, now update these values to be toast styling, and this time we'll leave the message. We want to use that. We'll just simply change this to content for default toast with styling, and we're using this message inside of here, and then we'll also add the classes property, the value rounded. So this will add the class rounded to our generated toast when we click on the button. Let's go back to the browser and refresh. Click the button. Now we can see that our toast is appearing with rounded borders. So this was all about how you can use the toasts.